With all the problems riddling Americans today, including poverty, hunger, just economic instability, terrible privatized health insurance that doesn't cover their needs, GOP Senator Mike Lee is focusing on what really matters: banning pornography. Because everything old is new again, and this is what he wants to spend his time on. Now, he has proposed a bill dubbed the, get a load of this, Shielding Children's Retinas from Egregious Exposure on the Net, also known as Screen, which would require such websites to ask users to provide their age before viewing content. That's great. I have no problem with that whatsoever. A friend of mine told me that when you go to a porn website, they ask you whether you're 18, and then you click either yes or no. A friend of mine said that. He wants to take it a little step further, right?
And by the way, that is a rock solid verification system.
Right.
I don't know of anyone who's lied in that verification system.
No one, ever.
Yeah.
There's never been a 15 or 16-year-old boy who has lied about his age when,
accessing that kind of material. Never.
Exactly.
Because they're honor bound. That's
totally.
what they are, teenage
100%.
boys. Yeah.
Now, let's get to the other thing that he's proposing here, okay? So he refers to it as the Interstate Obscenity Definition Act. It seeks to establish a national definition of obscenity that would apply to obscene content that is transmitted via interstate or foreign communications. Okay, now currently there is a federal standard that seeks to define obscenity. It's known as the Miller test, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I remember learning about it in college, in journalism school. I even read about it in preparing for this story. It's still really unclear to me what the Miller test means, okay? But here's what the Independent reported. It's a 3-step test outlined by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court in a 1973 ruling, which determines when protected sexual content crosses the line into the unprotected realm of obscenity. Lee's legislation would eliminate one of those steps, specifically the one defining obscenity as content that depicts or describes sex in a patently offensive way. Okay, but who's the arbiter of what is and is not offensive?
Well, obviously, the good senator from Utah. He's gonna have to look at all that porn just to see which ones are offensive, okay? Man's gotta, he's just trying to protect you guys. Okay, kidding aside, no, he's not making himself the arbiter of that. But he's actually proposing 2 different pieces of legislation.
Yes.
And what they would do in combination, actually by themselves they would do it. It would, in essence, make all porn illegal.
Yes, that's the whole point.
Yes.
Yeah, so under Lee's legislation, the new standard for obscene content in the US Communications Act of 1934, think about this for a second. He wants to go more extreme than where we were in 1934. Okay, would be any content that taken as a whole appeals to the prurient interest in nudity, sex, or excretion, or depicts, describes, or represents actual or simulated sexual acts with the objective intent to arouse, titillate, or gratify the sexual desires of a person. Dude, I mean, does he know that people can just get a VPN? And watch whatever porn they want?
But if this law passes, remember, none of the sites might be allowed to put it up in the first place. So it's
What is he gonna do? He's gonna go after a website that's operated out of the Netherlands, for instance?
They might attack the internet providers, not attack, but regulate the internet providers and say you have to screen out this, this, and this. And so there's a lot of different things that the government could do if it wanted to do it. It might not be able to contain all the porn, and trust me, it won't be able to, right? But they could knock out a ton of it and then what will they do? So knocking out porn would be first part of the problem, and a significant one, right? But he could take it to the voters. See if they like this, right? I wish he'd run on this, then maybe Evan McMullin would have won in Utah. Anyways, but the second thing they'll do is selective enforcement. Then they'll start catching people who are watching porn. And do you think they'll catch right-wingers or whatever? No, they'll just catch whoever the government doesn't like or the right-wingers don't like, and then start putting them in jail. And so that's how, ironically, tyrannical government takes control.
Speaking of ironic, no 2 people have forced me to think about porn more than Josh Hawley and Mike Lee. okay? I wasn't thinking about excretions today.
No,
until Mike Lee forced me to. Think about it.
Yeah, and guys, look, so I know they're obsessed with sex, and since everyone's obsessed with sex, if you want to actually target people politically, you just make looking at sex illegal, and then you can target anyone you like, right? And this guy pretends to be a libertarian, like the most libertarian person in the Senate. Like, I do want the government's, the hands off of everything, except the one thing that everyone watches, okay? So it's absurd, But overall, look at how much the right wing hates freedom. Don't do that with your body, don't do that with your body, do this with your body, don't do this on your off time, do this for pleasure, do not do that for pleasure. F off, all the way off.
There are also, I think, some First Amendment implications here, right?
Of course there are,
I mean,
but he doesn't, he's a Republican, they despise the Constitution. So he's like, First Amendment, that was just a bump in the road till you get to the Second Amendment when we start killing people. You know what I'm saying, right? So have you ever read the goddamn First Amendment, Mike Lee, you so-called defender of freedom? I mean, always with Republicans, they do the exact opposite of what they say. So if he says, I'm for the most amount of freedom as a libertarian, he's actually the most against freedom. And this is an excellent example of it. Hey, and all you horny right-wing men out there that like Republicans, you really want this to pass? And God forbid you do anything wrong, because they'll catch you, okay? And don't pretend you're for freedom if you're in favor of this.
What happened to no step on snake? What happened to that?
I don't even remember that.
So don't tread on me. There are these bumper stickers, they're hilarious. And one of our viewers actually sent me one because I referenced it on the show. They're like making fun of that with like a poorly drawn snake. And it just says, no step on sneck. And it's spelled S-N-E-K. It's just hilarious.
Yeah, that's funny. I laugh because I thought it was a porn thing.
No.
Don't step on the snake, you know what I'm saying? Wait till Mike Lee gets a hold of that.
God, why did you say that? That bumper sticker's on my fridge.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to take it off there. Mike Lee's gonna take it off for you soon, so don't worry.
Obscene.
Obscene. He's talking of snakes and stepping on them. Very obscene. I had to watch it for hours before I banned it. Or at least minutes. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.